What's going on, hikers? In today's video, we are talking about some of the worst hiking and backpacking mistakes that you can make and that I have made out on trail. Now, our mission here is to help you increase your quality of life, so hopefully this video does that. Starting with number one on our list, that is crossing streams or other bodies of water that are just way too high to cross at the moment, or it could be using improper technique while you are crossing those streams. Now, I am no expert on this, so my disclaimer is make sure you do your research other than just this video to ensure that you're doing everything safely, but I will tell you a few tips that I know. So I got a backpack here, and in this backpack, well, there's nothing in it right now, but I just want to show you. It's got a hip belt. So whenever I go across that stream, I definitely want to undo the hip belt. Now, if the stream's just too high to cross, you don't need to cross it, but at least do it safely if it is crossable. So undo your hip belt. And then I also have this sternum strap. So it snaps here, literally like right below your sternum, hence the name, the sternum strap. So when you go across, make sure you undo that as well. And then side shuffle facing upstream, so the water's coming towards you. And if you do all of those things, hopefully it'll help you cross a little bit more safely. And then if you do fall, you're not just going to be pinned down by the weight of that backpack, because you have it undone, and then you can shed the weight, you know, if worst case scenario, you have to ditch that pack. The second mistake on our list today is basically hiking too far too fast. And if you are a long distance hiker, you basically have to work your way up to that mileage. What I don't think that you should do is just hop in and be like, I'm going to tough it out and I'm going to start with 20 miles a day. Whenever you're first starting to plan your trips, plan some low mileage stuff, get your feet under you, see what it's like. I'll give you an example. So we planned a trip to do the Foothills Trail, my wife and I and another couple, and it was pretty tough terrain. And my wife actually had to stop prematurely. Like, it took us 5-6 days to complete the trip. She had to bow out early because we were doing way too many miles for her. Even if she was doing that with less weight on her back, which we had fully decked out backpacks, I still think that she would have had to bow out early just because the mileage was too much. So whenever you're planning out your trips, make sure you're planning the mileage appropriate to what you need. If you need to start with 3 miles in, 3 miles out, or maybe you're in super good shape already and you can manage like starting out at a 10-mile day or more, that's perfect. So tailor it to your needs. Don't overdo it and overestimate. Leave yourself a little wiggle room in there. The third mistake that you can make whenever you're starting hiking and backpacking is way overspending way too early. What you don't want to do is just start out and be like, you know what, I think I need the lightest pack. I need the best sleeping bag that money can buy. I need the greatest tent in the world. What you need to do is figure out what fits your needs first. And what you'll find is you could spend all that money and buy what is the best gear, but just because it's considered the best doesn't mean that it's best for you. All your gear needs to be tailored to your wants and needs. And you won't know what those things are until you get your hands on some gear and try it out and see what you like. And that actually leads me to today's video sponsor, which is Nomadic. Nomadic is the perfect company for you to sign up with, and they will supply you with some gear to try out. And basically the way it works is you can either do a quarterly subscription or monthly subscription, or just buy flat out on their website. And I'll tell you more about that here in just a second, but I want to show you what's in the box for my quarterly subscription. First thing, I have some pour over coffee for you coffee lovers out there. Unfortunately, this is something that I have to use far too often. This is some Gear-Aid Tenacious tape, and basically what happens is like a piece of gear rips, or for me, a lot of times my puffy gets burned, like a burn hole in it, and then you just peel this off and stick it on there, fixes it good as new. You can even wash it in the washing machine. Now, unfortunately, at the moment, I'm stuck with decaf coffee because I have this thing going on with my eye, but I drink decaf every day and I'm excited to get some caffeine in me. But you also will get this awesome EcoVessel travel mug. Now, for me personally, every time I'm headed out on a trip, basically what I do is I make some coffee from my Keurig and I put it in a travel mug exactly like this. and I take it with me on the way to the trail. Now we have a couple of really big ticket items in there because, by the way, this box has a retail value of $200, but that's not what you're gonna pay if you do sign up with Nomadic. You'll actually save some money. So one of those big ticket items is this LED Lenser headlamp. Pretty cool. It has, let me tell you what impresses me. It has this battery pack on it, and it will give me 10 hours of runtime at 600 lumens. Now, I don't have another headlamp that even comes close to 600 lumens. This thing is super bright. It also has an adjustable beam, so you can make it very wide if you want to, or you can make it super narrow if you're out there spotlighting something. That's 600 lumens, baby. Our other big ticket item is something that I pretty much keep in the trunk all the time in the car because I use it whenever we're picnicking, whenever we're going to the drive-in theater. If we go to the beach, you can throw this thing in the sand because it's machine washable. Also, if you're just outdoors and you want to throw this in your day pack, you can take it with you, and then when you stop and take a break, you get a little cold, you throw this thing around you. It's even got a clip if you want to clip it and wear it kind of like a puffy. So this is actually a Rumpl puffy blanket, and if you don't have one of these, you're actually missing out. Perfect for the house too. If you got kids, you're laying on the couch, you want to throw this on you. It is gigantic. It's 52 by 75 inches. So myself, even the tall guy that I am, over 6 feet tall, I still fit under this thing. So I want to thank Nomadic for sponsoring today's episode, and make sure you all check them out. If you want to subscribe to whatever tier that you want, whether it's quarterly or whether it is monthly, or if you just want to go shop on their website, make sure you use code Jeremiah20 to get 20% off. You can click the link in the description of this video. If you just click that little arrow on your phone below the video playing right now, it'll drop down the description, and then there's a link in there that you can check out everything that I've talked about today. So thanks again, Nomadic, for sponsoring and helping everybody have a better time outdoors and actually get out there and experience some nature. Now, our fourth tip today, this will straight up take you off the trail, and I have a little roll of tape here to go with this tip. It is not taking care of your feet. Now, whenever we're talking about taking care of your feet, that could be anything from the wrong size shoe to overdoing how many miles you're doing, or what I like to do is actually clean my feet every night that I'm out on trail. A couple of baby wipes will do the trick, and it kind of hits the reset button on my feet, and then I'll put on fresh socks to sleep in. Now, I'm holding this tape because this is called Luco tape, and everything I've talked about today I will link in the description. So if you want to check it out and do more research, you can, but this is basically my Band-Aid for my feet. I throw it on there whenever I'm starting to get a hot spot, because what you don't want to do is be a big tough guy or tough girl and be like, oh, I'm starting to feel something rubbing, but you know what, I'll just take care of it later. You may not even be being tough. You may just be like, it's an afterthought. I'll take care of it later. Right now is not a convenient time to stop. I got to tell you that now is the perfect time to stop, because if you don't throw some Luco tape on there or do some readjusting, maybe throw on some sock liners, your feet are going to hate you later on. So just stop, take care of it, and then it won't be a problem on down the road. The fifth mistake that a lot of people made, and I have made this multiple times in the past, including my very first trip, it is not readjusting your backpack. And I want to talk about two things to do with that. First, there's all kinds of adjusters on your backpack. And basically what that means is you can tilt the backpack forward or backward. You can scoot it up and down your back. You can loosen or tighten your shoulder straps. They even have some backpacks. This one's order custom to my body measurements, but they have some like my Osprey Atmos that it slides up and down to, and when I say slides up and down, I mean the shoulder pads, or the shoulder straps rather, will kind of slide up and down to position differently on your shoulders. There's all kinds of adjusters on here, so make sure you readjust it to fit what your body needs. Now, another thing when I'm saying readjust, I also mean readjust the stuff inside the backpack. See, when you first start backpacking, you probably are just gonna kind of throw things in there, and then there's no method. It's all just kind of madness. And you'll have something poking you in the back here, and it'll be pulling you this way because there's too much weight on one side. You're gonna have to stop several times, especially on your first few trips, to kind of readjust things, I would say, and figure out what the balance is inside the backpack. Not just how it fits on you, but actually how the things fit inside of it. So be patient, take the time to actually readjust those things, figure out what works for you. I know what most people like to do is put the heaviest things against their back, and that kind of sticks to your center of gravity, so you don't have your backpack kind of pulling away from you. But do what's right for you. It probably is a great video idea for me to actually show how I pack my backpack. So maybe that'll be one for the future. Tell me what you think about that in the comments. The sixth mistake that a lot of people make, and I have made this in the past, is letting your water filter freeze. Now, basically what happens is this thing has these like microscopic tubes in it, and it filters your water. But when it freezes, you all probably know when water freezes, it expands, and then those tubes are no longer effective at filtering the water. The reason why that's an issue is because then you can get some pathogen or germ, or I don't know the scientific name. Okay, I'm not claiming to be the smartest guy in the world, but your filter won't work. Your filter won't work at filtering, and that's a bad thing because then you can get sick, you get diarrhea. It's just a bad situation, right? So what you can do is, even while you're hiking, if it's going to be below freezing while you're out there, keep this somewhere against your body, whether it's in a pocket of a jacket up against you, or whether you want to, I like to keep it kind of in one of those knee pockets on cargo pants or cargo shorts. And then at night, you definitely want to sleep with this thing. So I throw it in a Ziploc bag so it doesn't get water in my sleeping bag or sleeping quilt. And then I'll just throw it in the foot box and I forget it's there. They actually do make some different sleeping bags. I'll list one below that has a zipper pocket on the outside so you can tuck things like your water filter or maybe a battery pack that you want to keep warm so it doesn't die on you. Keep that in there. So don't let your water filter freeze, and don't get diarrhea and get dehydrated out there. Diarrhea, it's the worst. The seventh mistake that a lot of people make on trail, and this one's absolutely disgusting, and the real issue with it is not only is it gross, but it can also make other people sick. It is not digging a cat hole when you take that 5-star poop out in the woods. So what I have here is a deuce of spades. This thing is super light. I think it says on here it's 0.6 ounces. So I would definitely check these out. It's super good to dig with. You just need to dig you like, I don't know, 6-8 inch hole, something that is deep enough that you can actually bury your poop in. Squat over that hole, do your business, and then you cover that sucker back up. When you don't bury your poop, one, somebody can step in it, right? So that's pretty nasty, or they're just seeing it out on trail. But two, the watershed of the area you're in. Places like on the Appalachian Trail that gets a lot of foot traffic, and then you have people pooping on top of the ground, that water, every time it rains, is carrying that away into the water systems that people are drinking from. So we don't want that. We don't want anybody to get sick. So make sure you are burying your feces. Bury that number 2. So if you did enjoy this video, give me one of these, comment, and let me know what are some other mistakes that a lot of people make, whether you've made them or you know, maybe you've heard about other people making them. And subscribe to the channel, kick that notification bell, and we'll see you in the next one.